Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Hunter. Welcome back to the Baseball Head, and hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So we're back here talking about our New York Mets. Now the Mets had this road trip, 10-game road trip where they went 4-6. Now, and obviously they got swept in Seattle, a lot of sleepless Seattle, listless in Seattle, bullshit in Seattle. But that's sort of been the par for the course when they go there. Whatever reason, they don't play well there. And, you know, you get an idea, we all got an idea of how much work the Mets have to do to get to the level of that pitching staff. I mean, that's a very good pitching staff. And they got off to a very rough start, but the pitching staff has carried that club to where I guess they're 5 games over 500. But they had a struggling offense, would drag this team down, but they are tied for first. They're right there with the Astros for first place in that division. But this is a video, obviously, it's the Mets channel. Talking about the Mets here. I would mention again in the previous video, if the Mets had won that second game in Anaheim, we wouldn't be complaining so much about how poorly they played in Seattle. Because to be honest with you, if Buzzlebutt hadn't given up that 3-run home run on that Saturday night, we wouldn't be complaining too much. Now, this offense has a reputation. It tends to sort of go, woo, disappears. It usually disappears for about a month. They did that in May. They did that last year in June. They did that in September of 2022 and October of 2022. So we know this reputation of how inconsistent this group is. And it's funny I should mention the offense. There has been wide speculation over the last few days by a couple of MLB insiders the Mets are going to make a serious run at Yankees outfielder Juan Soto. Now we're going to talk a lot about Soto over the next few months. I mean, until he signs with some team, we're going to be talking about him on a regular basis. Now, we still have the season to play out. I would mention the Mets are right there. You don't have to panic. Everything's good. If the Mets fell behind by a big margin during this road trip, I'd be concerned. I'm not concerned. The Braves aren't that good this year. They're terrible. I mean, they lost to a worse team than the Mets did. The Mets went up against a powerhouse pitching staff. And who did the Braves lose on Sunday night? The Rockies, which the Mets took 2 out of 3 from the Rockies. So this is not a lost situation. I know that the Spaz and the Coconut are worried about the Mets. They're so worried. They just want to get the clicks. I would mention, if you want to see a puppet show with the clowns at WFM, become a member. Then I can afford to hire a puppeteer. But anyway, that's one of the major perks of this channel, is to bring more entertainment value than just a regular talk about what everybody else talks about. But the Mets are right there. Now, for next year, and this video is kind of about next year. This is about Juan Soto. There have been 2 insiders that have mentioned it. Let me read you the SI.com overview of what's going on. Mets predicted to make serious run at crosstown rival superstar. The New York Mets are predicted to make a major free agent push for a crosstown superstar, okay? The stakes of this upcoming MLB offseason are extremely high for both New York teams. It's more higher for the Mets because the Mets could really use this particular player. The Yankees can kind of get away with not re-signing him. And that team is Aaron Judge's team. It's never going to be Juan Soto's team. Let's keep that in mind when it comes to Soto, that if the money's equal, Soto will look at it as look, if I go to the Mets, I'll be the man. And he doesn't have he can handle New York. I mean, his personality is such, New York doesn't intimidate him. He's played really well with the Yankees. So that's an idea to keep in mind. Well, it remains to be seen how both the Mets and Yankees will conclude their 2024 campaign. Both teams are trying to position themselves as perennial World Series contenders in the coming years. And that's what next year is about. Next year is about getting back and being a very serious contender to get to the World Series and win it. This year was a transitionary year where the front office was going to judge what the Mets had, what the Mets needed, and so on and so forth. World Series contending teams require world-class players, and there are a few players more world-class than Juan Soto. He avoided arbitration with the Yankees by signing a one-year, $31 million deal in January and is set to become a free agent this offseason. According to an August 11th article from the Bleacher Reports, Kerry Miller, I would mention that the Bleacher Report is owned by Warner Brothers, so Hollywood owns that particular website. I just wanted to mention that. It's extremely likely the present-day value of Soto's contract will exceed the $460 million present-day value of the deal Shohei Ohtani signed last winter. Excuse me? He signed a $700 million contract. What the hell is this Kerry Miller talking about? What is this guy talking about? I mean, you talk about towing the line of a corporation. In his article, Miller adds, it's really just a question of which of the two New York teams is more willing to pay and make Soto the highest paid player in baseball. Ohtani's the highest paid player. What is this monkey crap? What is this monkey crap? What are they talking about? He's got a $700 million contract. Am I missing something here? The 25-year-old's impending free agency potentially coming down to the Mets and Yankees will surely incite strife between the Big Apple's crosstown rivals. While the Yankees only acquired Soto from the Padres back in December of 2023, he has quickly become a fan favorite in the Bronx. He's got a big personality. Soto is hitting .304 with a whopping .1018 OPS, 30 home runs, and 82 RBIs, heading into Monday's game against the lowly, scummy, crappy Chicago White Sox. That's my add-on. These insane stats would make him the current favorite for AL MVP, if not for his teammate Aaron Judge's even more extraordinary season. Is this the thing? Does this guy want to take a back seat to a horse face? Does he want to take a back seat to a guy that's always hurt? Soto's been able to master the one thing that Horseface has never been able to master, and that's playing every day. You know, Horseface didn't play every day last year. Soto did. Soto plays every day, every game. Why do you want to take a back seat to a Horseface? Mets owner Steve Cohen and President of Baseball Operations David Stearns have made it clear that they're willing to spend money to secure superstars, make the Mets a true World Series contender. While they're at risk of losing slugger Pete Lonzo to free agency this offseason, signing Soto to a long-term deal would help erase that loss. Absolutely. And he's I'm going to say, he's much more consistent than Pete is. Also, little Andy Martino of SNY had said on the Terry Collins show that's on YouTube that the Mets are going to be in on Soto. So we got two sources here, two people, and one of them being little Andy. I would mention if you become a member of this channel, you'll be able to see a puppet of little Andy with his little Beatles puppets behind him mocking him. That'd be great. But anyway. Soto is a better hitter than Pete Alonso. Now, Pete has had a disastrous, absolutely dreadful walk year. And it's getting worse as we get closer to the end of the season. He had a terrible series in Seattle. In my view, the bat looks slow. It looks like it has slowed down. I don't know if it's because of these injuries that he's had to his wrist over the years, either in last year and of course what he's had in the minor leagues, and all the times that he's taken hit after hit on his wrist. I can't tell you for sure, but it certainly looks like the bat has slowed down. In my view, I think it's just more than he's having stage fright, being so close to free agency. But signing Soto would solve a lot of problems, obviously, of where they would play him. Right now, that's not a thing that we can consider. Either be right field or left field, but right field is a big part of this ballpark. I would assume they would put him in left, but who knows? Now, who would play first? There's plenty of options out there. You wouldn't have to spend nearly as much money, say, on a guy like Christian Walker or Rhys Hoskins, just to use him as an example. I'm not a big fan of his. He's a bit of a punk. But there are options here that you can replace Pete, because if you're getting a lot more production out of Soto than you are from what you're losing from Pete, then that's an improvement offensively. And this team needs some more consistent, everyday players offensively on this club. This is the one thing that's been a problem over the last, since 2021, is they've been very inconsistent offensively. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, I would mention also, Francisco Lindor has been consistent, specifically on this road trip. You know, amongst the other players of the Mets have been very inconsistent. Lindor has not. So give him kudos, and we give him a round of applause. Not mockingly, just respect. He has been really good, but the rest of this lineup has been a mess, and they need another hitter in this lineup, or specifically an elite hitter in this club that isn't 36 years old like JD Martinez, to be consistent and getting his hits and hitting big pitching, all kinds of pitching. Penalized is too inconsistent at this point in his career. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's stuff going on behind the scenes, but something is going on either physically or mentally, or maybe both. Who knows? Or maybe he's just coughing it up. That might be a possibility too. But that's for later on. But this video is interesting and it's exciting. The Mets said they were going to be back in the market for a big player last year. And so far, I don't see any indication that's telling me that they're not going to be in the market for this specific player and other players too, specifically on the pitching side and possibly another first baseman here. So, thank you for watching this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Don't forget to subscribe. A lot of people come in here and they watch and they don't subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. And remember, hit that bell for notification to let you know when the next video goes up. Thank you, and I'll see you later.